welcome back to Dr. Noah, and we're going to talk about Dr. U here on earaches. Big problem this time of year. This is being videotaped in January of 2012, and lots of different children, parents struggle with this. What do I do for Johnny and little Mary? And traditionally, as we'll talk about, you go see your drug doctor, they look in their ear, they go, oh my God, we got to put them on antibiotics because they're going to die. It's going to go to the brain. They're going to get encephalitis. They're going to not hear. All these kind of scare tactics, and we'll go through the real science, not what the drug doctors and drug companies are pushing there. So most of the time, Johnny or little Mary wakes up and they hold their ear and there's some throbbing and then pain, and this is obviously not a fun thing for a parent or for the child. And so we'll talk about some other ways to kind of do that. So unfortunately, as I mentioned to you before, most ear infections clear up with antibiotics. That's the dirty little secret here. When I was growing up, we never went to the doctor. One is why? Because they don't do anything. Two is, why would you spend that money? And this was from the Agency of Healthcare Research Quality, AHRQ. That's actually a leading institution of all type of scientists that review different things. And here is what it says. Nearly 2/3 of children with uncomplicated ear infection recover from pain and 24 without antibiotic treatment. So they say at least 66%. We'll show you other studies showing it's higher than that. Over 80% recover within 1 to 7 days anyway, if you didn't do anything. So this kind of hypersensitivity of parents, no one likes it. We'll talk about some other natural things to do. Approximately 93%, and that's where 93%, treated with antibiotics recover in 1 to 7 days. Oh, that's right. We already said that if you don't do anything, you recover in 7 to 9 days. So that's just a joke. Drugs have a particular type of problem. We'll talk about it in my update here, is that in India, now they're starting to freak out because not only do other types of bugs now, tuberculosis is become totally resistant against antibiotics. So that's going to spread around the world, and that's because of misuse of antibiotics used to things that don't work, like with ear infections. It's in our food supply. Another big study showing is that over 50% of antibiotic use is used in our animal usage in terms of chicken and cows and pigs and stuff, because they're raised in such a sick type of environment. They need to take these antibiotics to kind of go to a factor like that. And this is the big deal. I mean, what we're trying to advocate is you don't have to do that. But as in this study was in 2000. Now that's 12 years old. It's actually probably higher than that. That back then it was $3 billion. So it's probably at least $10 billion that poor drug companies won't be able to get, because we're going to reveal that's the case. Here's another article, British Medical Journal. Once again, all science. What does it say? Antibiotics for otitis media, not recommended. I mean, once again, the science just continued to kind of grow. Back in the 90s and now into the 21st century, it just does not kind of work. Here's another study showing, once again, 80% of infections in kids would clear up naturally. So we got 80 to 93% published in that. Here's another study, no benefits for antibiotics. This was another agency of healthcare, stated that they're in a real double-blind placebo study where the parents, were told, okay, Johnny and Mary is going to get real antibiotics, and then aren't, and there was no difference there. So that's voodoo. It just, once again, made people feel comfortable, once again, costing billions of dollars, but there's no benefit from placebo. Another study showing a little bit correlated because it's ear, nose, and throat. Penicillin no better than placebo for sore throats. So once again, the science goes over and over, but these are billion-dollar industry. And once again, to be fair, when you go to a drug doctor, they're going to give you drugs. So if you want that. Now, what they forget to tell you, especially for females, is there is a study, and we can talk about another time, is that women who've taken antibiotics over a lifetime 25 times or more, and kids, I mean, in my practice, I see where kids are on that 2 or 3 times a year. So by the time they're, teenagers, they've been on 25 times. It increased the chances of breast cancer by how much? 2%? No. 20%? No. 100%? No. 210%. So these have consequences. This isn't candy. This isn't just something that you take it and, no bad things happen. There might be a good side, as we've talked about. Doesn't seem to be a good side, and there's only a bad side. So that's what we look in terms of real scientists, risk versus benefits. What's the risk? As we talked about, 90 to 95% of it will go away without doing anything. If you go into Dr. U, there's lots of natural things that have been used for, not for a couple years, not for 50 years, but for thousands of years. And now we have the science to support that these natural things do have benefits in terms of reducing pain and helping with infections and all that. So that's what we kind of go with. Now, if it becomes a chronic condition as a holistic doctor, then we start looking into other things. We look at, gee, funny thing called the immune system. Yeah, what's wrong with Mary, Johnny, you, where you're it's kind of chronically having ear infections? Something's wrong. Healthy people don't have that. So we look at your immune system, and there's different ways to boost your immune system or modulate your immune system. We also look at allergies, and this is a little common little free tip here. A lot of allergies cause inflammation and also fluid in the ear, and the culprits are usually milk, dairy products, and wheat products, real kind of common factors like that. Excess mucus-forming foods, which are usually the crappy foods, the junk foods, so you eliminate that. I like this little article, green vegetable deficiency. So that's what most people have. They don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, and that's an important part. Excess sugar and refined diets all contribute like that. So I know it's not as easy and as you know, go see your drug doctor, take a couple little pills and go, but we really get to the cause of the problem. So that's a real particular type of part in terms of doing that. One of the things, and there's a little bias here being a chiropractic physician, is there's lots of science that there can actually be mechanical problems. The reason why you're having, or your little Johnny and little Mary have it, is because of mechanical problems. And here are just a number of studies showing that for ear infections, chiropractic adjustments or osteopathic adjustments can be very effective at being part of that particular type of syndrome if it's mechanical, which means there's a physical problem. Taking all the vitamins and antibiotics and even natural things, we're going to do it until the mechanical problem is cleared. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in a couple minutes here. So, otitis medius, ear infection, earaches, once again, be concerned, but be smart in terms of what you do for your children, because as we talked about with like little things like cancer, you don't want to do that to your child. So thanks for watching, and go down and find some more information about ear infections.